Shockwave. Everyone loves him, right? Awesome robot design. Basically Spock. Like, cold, emotionless, driven by logic, but evil. So, that one Mirror episode, but without the mustache? We'll never know why Leonard Nimoy never voiced Shockwave. Either he didn't want to be typecasted, he was busy, money wasn't right, he didn't want to voice a kid's cartoon. Who knows? He never voiced Shockwave, but he did voice Galvatron in the 86 movie and beyond, who was pretty much the complete opposite of Spock. Very hot-headed and kind of insane. Anyway, it's time to see what the movies did with Shockwave. Instead of doing just one video on each one, I figured I'll take a shotgun blast approach and just review all of them. Starting with a toy I've had for a long time, but somehow never talked about. It's Dark of the Moon Voyager Shockwave. Now, when I got back into collecting, one thing I would do is I would go to eBay, type in Transformers, go all the way to the price range and go $1 to $5. Now, almost everything you see in that is like broken parts, G1 with missing parts, that kind of thing, but once in a while I would find various auctions starting very cheap for loose Transformers, and that's how a lot of my early collecting started. Shockwave being one of them. So, this is quite the redesign for Shockwave. Although it definitely is Shockwave. Like, a lot more than most of the movie designs. Shockwave has kept a lot of the stuff that makes him iconic. They've just amplified it and spiked it out. Like, I love that his chest plate has become a literal rib cage. That is just awesome. You can see the head. They took his little head fins and pointed them forward, so they're now basically devil horns. And he has some of the best light piping I think I've ever seen. Like, that red eye just glows everywhere. Like, the smallest amount of light could hit it and it just boom. It makes me forget that it's supposed to be yellow. And this body just, like, Shockwave is normally kind of slim and athletically built, but this guy's just a hulking berserker at this point. Like, I love it. The arms. Let's talk about the arms for a sec, because functionally they're quite awkward, with the shoulder joint being all the way up here. It gives him this kind of range, but like it looks awkward just because of the angles. But his iconic little hand cannon has mutated and grown into this massive fusion cannon looking thing, which, this being Dark of the Moon and mech tech, you have a little switch on the back that activates more guns. And this being one of the better mech tech weapons, you can actually lock it in by clicking it right there. Because when Shockwave wants more guns, Shockwave gets more guns. And on the other hand, pun intended, is this knife thing? I'm not exactly sure what it's supposed to be. I imagine it's some kind of blade. There's only ever going to be one blade. But like, since when has Shockwave ever had an arm-mounted sword? Like, you can technically plug it into his hand, which is something I only tried recently. I've had this toy for at least a decade. But like, that doesn't look right either. Oh, and he's bringing the iconic 3mm clips for tons of extra hijinks. Shame I don't have very many 3mm clip weapons. Shockwave's hands are certainly a talking point. They look like, well, regular hands, regular open hands, which is very unusual. You don't have that many characters with open hands. 3 of them near me are Shockwave. And you gotta love his knee-high boots with the knee pads made of knives. And even his toes. Well, normally they're kind of just regular rectangles. They've gone full hooves and spikes. Because there's so many spikes on this guy. Posability is, honestly, it's far from perfect. Like, the head's on a swivel. The arms are at these aforementioned awkward angles. So he can go... He can't really... No, he can T-pose. But he can also just... Wee! Why am I alive? And the hands do have a wrist joint. That is mostly for transformation. But no waist. And the hips are probably the most awkward because they're ratcheted. But this is the most inward they can sit. Because if you go any further... Oh no. No, he's delivering a drop kick. Forward and backwards they can go fine, although they are hampered backwards. You can only go that far. They do have a touch of emptiness in them, and apparently I recently broke a tab. But this guy, it's still very dear to me. He's also got 3mm clips here and here. And the thing, pretty sure nobody cares about in their Shockwave, a hose pipe. You can plug it in here, and then plug it in one of 2 ports on his back. I guess that'll finish the look off, but it also hampers the arm articulation, which, no thank you. Bye, Felicia. He does have a tiny amount of kibble on its back, but it's nothing. It's basically the front of his vehicle mode. I love this design for Shockwave. It's so much more than what I expect from Shockwave, but I also think it fits Shockwave. Like, he was living on Cybertron, ruling it for freaking eons, basically. Like, what? This says, what if he worked out a lot in that time frame and listened to death metal? I did do a video on this guy back in the day, but you can't really call it a video. It was a PowerPoint slide of me messing around with Shockwave. This robot mode, it's very logical. Probably not, but he can thrust his logic at you. I'm sorry. Much like G1 Megatron, Shockwave originally turned into a gun. And ever since then, they've had a struggle to figure out what to turn him into. So, let's see what they came up with for this movie.
Shut it down, pick it
It's a tank. Kind of. It basically is a rectangle on wheels, so a tank, sure. It's supposed to be Cybertronian, but since when would a tank grow tusks? Like walrus tusks? Obviously, the cannon isn't in the right spot to be a tank turret. It's just off to the side. But it still functions. And you have a tiny black Decepticon symbol on the gun with a second port to plug the useless bloody hose. What I love about this is some of the ways it forms this shape. Like folding in the foot and the knee pad to plug together, and then plug the heel spur into the part of the chest. Like, those are like genius moves that are like, I still remember to this day. Like, as long as I've had this toy, I'm like, that goes there, that. It's like, why do you need the fold out heel spur? Oh, because it works as a tab to plug in. Yeah. I do love these massive purple wheels with the tiny, barely functioning ones at the back end and the just for show tank treads. The knife is still a knife, sword, but I'm sure you would get more use out of like just puncturing through things and probably shooting them. And he pulls a Megatron with just having his face there, but at least it's covered up. You can still see the light piping. This toy is not amazing, but it is still fun for me to have. Like, it's one of my earliest collecting once I got back into it. Somewhere 2012, 13, I think. Along with what was on the pegs at the time, Thrilling 30, like the deluxe Orion packs and the Bomber Megatron. So, he has a place in my heart and in my rib cage. And eventually, they decided at the good ship Hasbro that it was time for an upgrade. And they came out with Studio Series Dark of the Moon Shockwave. This is a reissue. A reissue of a Studio Series. And there's the box. And here is the figure, and holy crap. I initially passed on this guy because I had this guy and I thought, well, I have enough Movieverse Shockwave. I don't really need him. I'll just skip on him. I kind of regret it because this guy is awesome, but very odd. Like, I'm still looking at him, and I've had him for a couple months. Maybe less than a couple months, but I'm not sure if I like him. The head is almost as good as the original. You took away the light piping, damn it. He maintains the rib cage, but instead of being an extra piece, it's just molded on there, which is not as fun. His boots are now his entire legs. It's hard to tell when his thigh stops and his knee begins. Actually, that is his knee pad. The feet, I appreciate the removal of the gray plastic. That kind of stood out a bit too much. The triple horns being... Like, I didn't think you could take a design that's 90% spikes and add even more spikes to it, but I was wrong. The frickin' massive hand. Damn, he is gonna grab you. Let's talk about the massive purple elephant in the room. This arm cannon, man. What did you... It appears to be topped with an entire Isengard. We're taking the Autobots to Isengard. We're taking the Autobots to Isengard. At first I thought maybe the barrel are his fingers, but no. There's a hand molded in right there. So it's like, there is his hand, and the fusion cannon starts all the way at his elbow. It's not a fusion cannon, it's just a really odd looking gun. Rests lower than he is. He can't even hold his arm straight without it keeping him off the ground. He was that obsessed with shooting Autobots. Fair enough. What else? This color scheme. I'm not a fan. Because I know it's supposed to be screen accurate, and I'm sure this is. Honestly, I don't remember much of Dark of the Moon. Besides the fact that McDreamy is playing a bad guy. I did watch quite a bit of Grey's Anatomy when I was younger. McDreamy, Patrick Dempsey, I think. But he's in the movie as a bad guy for some reason. That... I think he fights Shia LaBeouf at one point. Sure. That's about all I remember. But the color scheme. My point was, I would have infinitely preferred that bright purple. Like, if you're going to make the box art like that bright a color, it only makes sense to make the figure that color too. Even though you can tell by the shot from the movie itself, yeah, he's pretty dull, unfortunately. And there's some weird things about this toy that are definitely of its time. Like, the hand, the spikes on the feet, the Isengard for a barrel, and some other things are all rubbery plastic. Why? Like, does this give him hand articulation? This technically is a wrist joint, but you can barely do anything with it. Like, it has that much range. But I love that the triple boosters on his back have gotten even bigger, and they don't even form wheels anymore. They're just on there for show, which is awesome. They're a bit twiddleable. This one goes up and down. These two kind of go at this wacky angle. And his posability is definitely improved, but so his head, as aforementioned, has no light piping, but it can go like that. It's on a ball joint and on this panel, so it can go up super tall, or we can look down into his own rib cage. Got your very good ball jointed movement, very dynamic. The shoulders can go all the way around. They can go out. They look good. You got your bicep swivel right above the elbow and an elbow joint. He can pull off that Cheetor action. Still no waist swivel. Sad. But the hips have so much more range and can actually sit kind of relaxed. He can actually stand casually now. And kick you in the face if he wants. Thigh swivel is up here, which breaks the sculpt, but along with, whoa, that knee bend is a lot further down. And he has a knee pad joint to, I guess, try and cover it up. It's not linkage articulation. You can go all the way or just lock it in right there. His foot has a hinge, which looks like a double hinge, and a pivot all the way backwards where it connects to the leg for just an absurd amount of hinge. But he has these weird growths that I guess are supposed to be his ankles. They barely do anything in the vehicle mode either, but they move around and there's no real solid place to put them, I find. And he also is a bit of a pain in the ass to balance with all these ankle joints. You can find a pose that'll make him stand still, but it feels like a tiny bit of a chore. And he comes with more accessories. A bigger version of the hose. Which, sure, plugs in if it actually wants to. There. And can plug into this hinged piece right here. So it doesn't really hinder as much as the original one did. So I guess I'll keep it on him. But is this a cannon, or is he just giving you the finger? One massive middle finger. He comes with the blade. But again, it's that weird floppy plastic. And it has an arm-mounted place, which, sure, he probably has better stabbing range. Let's break down the pros and cons of Shockwave's blade. Sorry, I've been watching a lot of scenic fights. But there's also a port down here where it actually is kind of, I don't know, I think this is the port. Is it? Okay, I'm trying to remember how it was packaged. You got two ports. One of them works with his hand facing this way, and the other with his hand facing this way. Yep, that's the... I guess it's supposed to be underslung for a stab. It was packaged like this. Get out of here, you. And he comes with possibly the world's shittiest accessories. Can you even see them? I think one of them's supposed to be wheelie. Bet they're soft plastic and they got like one paint app each. Like this guy just has his blue hair. And this one is just blue all over. Dabba-dee, dabba-die. Like, I literally could inhale these. They're so small. Why? What? They're freaking choking. I don't even know if they're big enough to be a choking hazard. So apparently this guy is wheelie. Or no. This guy's probably wheelie. That would make this guy brains, along with this guy. You don't recognize him? He's a nest. What? Like a paratrooper who apparently doesn't have a face. Oh no, those are glasses. Like goggles. He was in the Battle of Chicago that Shockwave was in. Apparently, I guess, paratroopered in to try and fight Shockwave. I'm doing my part. I'm definitely small enough to put up your... On that note, let's transform this guy. So to start, untab the shoulders. We're going to leave them on this. We can leave them, or we can fold them up. Where is it? It's going to tab in. They're going to lock in. Is it going to lock in with the peg? There we go. We can leave them like that. Fold up the head, come to the legs and unpeg them from there, like that. We'll want to fold the foot so it's facing forward and the heel is out of the way. And then you're going to want to rotate it and plug it in to right there. And these things, which were the heels, are going to cover his face. So that goes there. That goes there. And then make sure these are covering his face as much as they can be. Now you want to come to the back and fold it down so it's kind of resting, and the arms are going to tab in. However, be cautious. You can see there's stress marks on both tabs there, because there's enough wiggle room in the arm to apply enough pressure that this thing is basically wanting to come off. Like, it could already come off. Like, I could just rip it off. And there is a little bit, but not as much, because the arms have tabs right in there. That you want to make sure the back panel is as far back as it can be. So when the arms come down, they tab in, and then tab in. Where is the... There it is. Or just, come on. Where are you? You tricky bugger. Oh, and the back panel is going to tab in to the shoulders. Where the heck? Okay, that's... It legit does not want to tab in anymore. There is your tank mode. It's not great. Like, I think I get what it's going for. But it has none of the charm of the original. Like, look at these. These don't even look remotely similar. Like, this one, at least the arms are viable as tank components. Like, they're covered up enough that I can kind of believe. But this one, his arms are just Like, they're just I'm a tank now. Don't mind me. And here, look at this. There's enough range right here. You could snap it off. And that is just poor design. And this time he barely has his head concealed. Can you actually? Oh no, doesn't. You can sort of rotate the barrel, but I was wondering if it could come off. Let's plug the sword on, I guess. Because that's going to make it look so much better. Are we back in Siege? Why does it have battle damage on it? Did this take mode even appear in the film? I don't know. But I guess it rolls on these 4 tiny baby wheels. And you have a visible chest right there. Like, how did they manage to make this worse? It can roll. The 2 figures have nothing to do with this at all. Maybe they fought Shockwave. They were around when he was fighting Optimus Prime and dying. Spoiler alert, Shockwave gets killed. As do most Decepticons in the Bayverse. Let's just say I'm not a fan of this tank mode. If I had it on its own, with no other comparison, maybe I would be more of a fan. But, like, I'm directly comparing it to... Hi. To this tank mode, and it doesn't hold up, in my opinion. It makes it worse. Like, it's got no charm to it. Like, where are the spikes? Where are the tusks? Like, the ramming? They're technically on the feet, but they don't look like they're any use for ramming into anything. Mind you, the triple boosters in back are kind of amazing. I'll give you 1 point for that. They're here, and they look cool. I wish I could plug stuff into them, though. They have square ports. Why? You have you don't give us square pegs, Hasbro. Why do you have square holes? So, yeah, he's not quite as good as his grandpa or his dad, or maybe his older brother. Yeah, I'm gonna go with older brother. These two aren't that far enough away in age to be. So at the time, that was it for movie Shockwave. He died in Dark of the Moon, and he didn't show up again until the Bumblebee movie, where he first appeared in the core class. Here's his package. There's a picture of him. Oh, and in the re-release of Shockwave, he does not come with a Chicago packaging scene. Like, they removed the in-pack movie scenes, and he just has a boring blue background. But yes, Bumblebee movie. Core Class Shockwave. I passed on him originally because I looked at him and thought, Shockwave needs to be bigger. Confirmed for what she said. But this guy is absolutely adorable. And a tiny representation of an amazing update to an amazing original design. Like, this update to the G1 Shockwave design is subtle, but still really cool. So the head is his classic face with the single yellow eye. It's back to being yellow! Yay! He has a bit more greebly stuff to him because he doesn't turn into a gun anymore. We'll talk about that. Instead, the gun is his arm, which is true for movie Shockwave, but you can remove it. That just doesn't look right. Two-handed Shockwave? Nope. I'm putting it back on. I love how it's pretty much bigger than his entire chest. He's not compensating at all for anything with this gun. And in the movie, Shockwave, he's on Cybertron, and all he does is point. Like, he doesn't say anything. I don't know if he actually gets into a fight with anyone. He just points, which this toy with its lumpy fist holes cannot do. But, you know, Core Class is adorable. I like the armor on his thighs. They look very smooth. And he has similar feet to the Dark of the Moon guy, just not as aggressive. His articulation, it's mostly ball joints and hinges, as if you'd expect anything else. But the head is a swivel. The shoulders are ball jointed. You do have a swivel at the top of the elbow and at the bottom. So this part can swivel, or this part can swivel. And you have a omnidirectional elbow. Nothing at the waist again. God, Shockwave, 3 toys without a waist joint. But he does have ball jointed hips, which can't really go all the way forward. They can kinda, once you get in the basic instinct joint, where you can cross his legs. Is that what that movie? You know the scene I'm referencing. They can also go backwards and out. And you can go all the way and do that. You do not get a thigh swivel, but the ball joint kind of fakes a thigh swivel. You get a knee bend and a bit of a forward and backwards ankle, but no ankle pivot. So this guy is cute, and his posability is a little bit hindered in a lot of ways, but it's Shockwave. I knew I was going to get it eventually, and it's still shelf warming to this day. You could probably go to like Walmart and Toys R Us, not Toys R Us, but like when I got ready to do this video, like last year, I was like, okay, I have 2 Shockwaves, I need 2 more. One is coming out next year being this year. And the other one came out when the Bumblebee movie was released, or when the toys first hit the shelves. And I could still find him on the shelf when I said, okay, I want to pick one up. I probably still find one today. Here, have a size comparison with the only other Legends class, Core class, whatever you want, Shockwave. Combiner Wars Shockwave. I think I still prefer, even with the need to fix the ball joints, Combiner Wars Shockwave. So, transformation. It's kind of hilarious. You don't want to fold that peg all the way out. Take his chest and fold it out. And fold it down. Fold his head and arms all the way up. And come to the legs and use that joint. That, I believe, is it gonna... It tabs in somewhere. But you want to rotate that joint. Yeah, it's going to tab into the top of the shoulder pad. Sort of. Like that. Oh, come on. And then just fold the foot down. And that will... believe, do you peg into the chest? Yes, you do. The chest plugs into the thighs. It's a bit awkward. This being the parts are so little. Weird. Oh, you plug it in there, I think. There, that. There you go, that's better. The one side doesn't want to plug in now. Maybe because the shoulder pad was in the way. But the arm is going to hook into the shoulder and tab in. Like that and like that. You have most of a tiny Shockwave tank mode. To finish it off, you rotate the head, and this is the best part, you plug the gun, lockdown style, but into the back of his head. Like, oh. And there you go. There's his new tank mode for Bumblebee. Gotta say, big Transformers Prime energy from this thing. Maybe because it's just a tank with the feet facing forward instead of the arms. No, the arms get to hang out in the back and do absolutely nothing. Hi, I still see you. That's called a mom vision, when he has eyes in the back of his head. Because he has a turret in the front of his head, which now has a swivel due to the neck joint and has a bit of up and down. Just that much range. And honestly, this might be, for lack of hyperbole, the best of movie Shockwave. There's one mold for movie Shockwave I don't have. That was a Dark of the Moon Commander class that had like a massive transforming weapon with it. And I didn't go looking for it. because it'd probably be expensive on eBay. This guy is ruddy adorable, and also kind of hilariously not very subtle. Mind you, subtlety isn't a thing for Shockwave here, but like this one feels the most like rushed and like budget low that they, because we'll see in the next one they did this mode again, but a little bit better with the other Studio Series Bumblebee movie Shockwave, this time Voyager class. And this guy was the thing that made me feel like doing this video, because I looked at him and said, oh, I might pick him up. But then it was on Hasbro Pulse, and the only reason I got him on Hasbro Pulse was because I was curious how they were going to ship things to Canada, because I'd never gone with Hasbro Pulse before. Mostly in lieu of what's still to release. I'm still waiting for it. The RID Optimus and Ultra Magnus set. I've seen one person get that set. Was it Australia, I think? And apparently it's supposed to release sometime in April. So I'm doing this video ahead of time to at least I'll have it done if and when that set shows up. But you know, I'm happy they gave this design a full-sized Voyager. Like he deserves a bit more than a core class. Although that doesn't make him perfect. No. Like, he is basically that toy, but bigger. Like, there are a couple more steps to his transformation, but honestly not much. Like, his hands are actually open hands again. Shame he still can't really point. And now we get a proper look at his massive new shoulder pads. I like them. They stand up straight, and they gave him a certain presence, but they kind of hamper the articulation. And that was one of the things, one of the big talking points of this guy when he was first announced. No bicep swivel. Because you do have an elbow swivel, but for a lot of people, understandably, that doesn't count as a bicep swivel. But it works the same. It still functions. Hilariously, they gave him an Autobot symbol on his arm, which is actually from the movie design, like it was in the movie, but it still just feels wrong. Like, the movie design itself is wrong because it shouldn't have an Autobot symbol. Especially when he has, like, no Decepticon symbols anywhere. Like, you couldn't have fixed that in post-production? Now we get the head, which is his G1 head again. Just like the core class, but, like, it's bigger. The ears are bigger. He has light piping. It's a little bit annoying. It's on the top of his head and very thin and kind of quite hard to, like, he is slightly illuminating here, but, like, can we even get, like, a bright light out of it? Yeah. It does glow. It does glow nice and brightly yellow. But not nearly as brightly as the Siege one. Like, that is just all time. I still love this figure. This guy's a Voyager. This guy's a leader. Well, this guy has a bunch of armor crap that I put off to the side and haven't touched in forever. Other articulation. The head is on a ball joint. You have a kind of negligible nod along with a swivel. No side to side. The shoulders are hampered. They can go all the way out, but this pad gets in the way of this pad, and it's just not a good time. Go out. He has unnecessary battle damage. You do have a forward-facing elbow joint and a ball-jointed wrist, but you only get a swivel because you want to put that thing away. It's on a ball joint. That's their hips. But wait, we finally have a waist swivel! After all these toys, 4 movie Shockwave toys. After an hour, we're free. We finally have a waist swivel. And the armor kind of bumps into it. I do wish this panel had more than just battle damage. I wish it was like silver, because I'm pretty sure it's silver in the movie. And it's also silver, or, yeah, on the box art. And he came with a backdrop of Cybertron. Thigh swivel, indeed. And we have the same joint as the core one. Knee bends just about 90 degrees. And you have a forward and backward ankle. And you have a tiny amount of ankle tilt. So, you know, this guy does have articulation. It's okay. It's a bit better than the core class. The waist swivel, nice, but also, look how clean this robot design is. Like, you can't even, well, you can tell what he transforms into, because we've already shown it off, but first, the cannon. It has a slot, and you can plug it into his arm. It's on the left side because Shockwave is a classic lefty. Much like me. Yep, there it goes. And he can point his cannon. It looks better pointing like with this as a gun. Or that could just be a finger. And it can bend backwards a tiny bit. But you also have another bloody hose. This one I don't mind as much because I didn't even realize until right before I started shooting that you could remove it. Or I might have removed it once and then now just completely forgot I did that and then tried to remove it without breaking it and was like worried I was going to break it. But it plugs into the back of his shoulder. And you don't really get much hindered. Like, it can still move about freely. It does not want to... Come on. There we go. You gotta push it in, but the rubbery material makes that feel a bit... This is a good robot mode. Like, for movie Shockwave, I don't think it could get better. we then have to get to the alt mode.
I met her on the internet, we haven't met in person yet, and that's how I'd like you to say. Cause I've been down this road before, they always end up wanting more, they take one look and run away.
Here's a size comparison. There's some new touches on this version, like these things spin around. Why? The extending gun is nice. The hands folding away is really nice. And the head trying to hide. It's still that ridiculous. How would you even do this kind of pose? Like your head tucked, feet in front, hands back here. I don't think you can do that unless you're a robot from space. Certainly far away from the Astro Magnum, I guess. Or the spaceship version of it. And here it is with his previous tank modes. So this is the kind of figure that I think looks awesome on the shelf. Like, you pick it up, you play with it, you pose it, you put it back, you go, no. Or you look at it and go, no, I'd rather play with something else. He looks good standing there. I think that's all the Shockwave. I hope I don't do another big video anytime soon. It's a bit much. I got 4 Shockwaves. I want to talk about them. He does have wheels. And if you learned anything in this video, it's that Hasbro cannot decide what shade of purple to make this guy. Thanks for watching. There is an in-universe lore reason as to why he has the head that he does, the one single eye. But not today. We'll save that for a different video. Live long and prosper.